Hi, and thanks for choosing to watch this C-Logic video all about the service calendar in Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2011. The service calendar allows you to schedule service activities not only for users but also for resources and facilities, and if you offer a specific service at specific times, you can check for conflicts and offer available times for that service. In this video, we'll take a look at navigating the service calendar and performing some of the setup tasks to use the service calendar. Look out for two other videos which will look at actually scheduling within the service calendar and some other advanced elements that can be considered and used. The service calendar can be found in the service workspace, and as with most entities, roles can be assigned to allow users to view or schedule within the service calendar. The view shows activities that have been scheduled against the various resources which can be users, facilities or equipment. At the top you can filter by a specific record or type, or if you don't have quite so many records, then just by type. Here I can see activities scheduled against all resources, or I can just see when facilities and equipment are booked. On the calendar on the right, you can select the range of dates you want to see, for example a particular day, or in this case a particular week. You can hide the calendar if required, or show it again. From and to dates at the bottom of the screen can be manually defined at the bottom of the view, and if you have chosen a longer period of time, then the scroll bars come into play to move left and right within the calendar. You can also zoom in and out for more time detail if activities are short, and the filters on the bottom left allow you to view records that start with that letter, and the central arrow reveals a panel that provides the information either about the resource or the service activity if you click on it. So how do we set up things ready to schedule a service activity? Well, the idea is that you define a service and then associate the necessary resources or equipment against that service. When you come to schedule the service, you can then choose the right resources that are able to perform that service. A service could be anything from training day to a bicycle repair to a washing machine service. You could also use activities within the IT implementing sector to define professional services and schedule resources to project activities. I'm going to set up a service called a training day where I can choose from a couple of trainers and also select a company projector. First we set up our facilities or equipment. Go to Settings and then Business Management and click on Facilities Equipment. This lists the items available. Our trainers are CRM users, so they are set up by default, but you could set up non-CRM users as resources. I'm going to add the two company projectors, so I click New and fill in the information. You can ignore Site at this stage, but I'll cover that in part 3 of the service calendar videos. Click Save, and then you can add Projector 2. Click Save and Close, and we can now see our equipment listed. Let's now set up our service. Click on Business Management again in Settings, and then select Services. Our current active services are listed. Note that you can deactivate a service and then filter to see inactive services. Inactive services cannot be scheduled. Click New and give the service a name. Select a status that is applied when the service is first scheduled. We'll leave it as reserved. Add a description if required and then move on to scheduling. You need to give the service a default duration. In our case, we'll say a training day lasts 7.5 hours. The Start Activities Every field is important when it comes to finally scheduling the service. Each of our trainers can only do 1 day of training within 1 day, so we set this to 1 day. However, if the service is a quick activity that takes about an hour, you could set it to 1 hour so that appropriate time slots are given for that activity. We'll see this and it will all become clear in part 2 of these videos, and we'll also discuss how you can set the user's work hours so that breaks and holidays are factored in. Set the beginning app time and we'll say a training day starts at 9 AM. Now we move on to the selection of required resources. We want a service to include 1 trainer and 1 projector, so we need to force the selection of both. First then, let's make a rule for selecting a trainer. Double-click the top rule and select All. This is because we're going to add 2 sub-rules for trainers and projectors. If I was just adding a rule to select trainers, I would put 1 in the quantity. Add a description if required. Leave site as is, as we're not using sites, but this option defines whether the resources must all be from the same site or if they can be from any site in the business unit. This option is only available in the top level selection rule. The scheduling details allow you to specify the capacity of that resource, which basically means how many of the services they can do in the allotted time. Normally this would be left as 1. If it is more, you can then specify the best way to select a resource in selection criteria. We'll leave the default selected. Now click OK. Now we add our sub-rules, so highlight the top rule and click Add a Selection Rule. And now fill in the details. We are going to choose 1 from a list of trainers. Click OK and now click Resources in the next line to specify the trainers. When you click OK, it will ask you if you want to save the users as a resource group, which can be quite useful if you're using the group a number of times for different services. Now we add the second sub-rule for projectors, so we repeat the procedure, making sure we change the filter to view our projectors. At this point, note the Help button, which gives a good overview of the different sorts of rules you can set up. Once you've filled all the details in, we can now see our resource rules in all their glory, and we can click Save and Close. By default, the service is saved as an active service, and we can always go back in to edit or change it as required. This is now ready for use in the service calendar area. I suggest now a cup of tea could be in order, so why not do that and then come back and look for scheduling in the service calendar of Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2011, in which I'll show you how to schedule services. In the meantime, thanks for watching this C-Logic video.